Hello everyone, my name is Antonia Villa and this is my presentation for EDL 901 Module 1. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Elkhart and I'm still here in Elkhart. I am currently the middle school principal and the alternative high school principal. I also oversee the migrant program. I'm the McKinney-Vento liaison, foster care point of contact, and KISA building chair for the alternative high school. My teaching experience started back in 1994 when I was a paraprofessional, and while I was working at Yarborough, which is about 8 miles south of us, but it's located in Oklahoma. I was also going to college at OPSU, and I earned my bachelor's in 1996. And then I went back to the classroom as a Spanish teacher, and then over the years I decided to try Elkhart. And so I started as a preschool teacher here, and then moved on to being the high school Spanish teacher. And then eventually the two different buildings came available, and I ended up with the alternative high school principal role and the middle school principal role. Let me go back. I will share that I went to school at Jorge State University. Everything was online back then. It was in 2006. But we still had to order books, and we still had to, things were a lot different. You talk about incorporating technology, look at us now, look at us go. So I think we are really doing really good right now as far as getting used to what's out there, because back in 2006 we didn't have to record our assignments like we do now. So that's a big change. Alrighty, as a district leader, in order for me to create something, I feel like first I have to see the need, and I would truly want to invest a lot of time in student data, student assessment data, as well as the surveys that students, staff, community, and parents are asked to take throughout the years. And then most importantly, I would like to invest time in visiting with teachers. I really feel like building those strong relationships helps. It helps build trust. It helps build that you're united. You're jumping into something new together, not just one person. It's together. I would like to form a common vision, but that common vision comes after we build that trust. Building trust by including everyone in the decision-making process, I feel, is very important. Keeping priorities and boundaries to reach the common vision. You know, there's going to be 100 ideas, but we need to keep our priorities and boundaries all intact, and we'll reach that common vision together. Okay. As a district leader, to develop a culture of, I would say, of being able to take risk, being able to incorporate something new, being able to have people buy into curriculum technology. I believe that first I have to see where everyone is at, and I would like to, we usually have the Title II-A needs assessment. That's something that's required to be taken every beginning of the year. And so that data can help me figure out what professional development is needed. I believe it has 7 questions, and they're just strictly questions about you as a professional. What do you need to become better? I feel that needs assessment can give me a lot of information that I need. We also have the individual professional development plan, and it has 3 goals. I don't know if everyone does this. I know we do this on a yearly basis. You know, that's another way to figure out, you know, as a team, what do we need? What do we need to work on? And it's not taking a whole jump. I mean, it's steps at a time. And so I would really encourage you to look into the Title II-A needs assessment. I looked at ours, and it really does specify, you know, it gets the questions we want. You know, what kind of professional development do you want? What kind of, in what content area? So it's just getting to know the staff and the need, I feel, is very important. All right. So in order for me to ensure equity, first, once again, we need to figure out what the district has. We must improve the entire digital learning system by addressing both how students have access to devices, and that was very, very important, especially, 2.5 years ago when we were, when COVID was brand new. I mean, when we went into shutdown, we immediately started trying to figure out, okay, how many laptops do we have? How many can we check out? How many iPads do we have? You know, all this should have been in place, and it was in a way in place, but it was just in place with one department, and that's where I feel we go wrong. It's kind of a little bit of a control thing, but I think we need to share that control. I would like to incorporate technology into everyday lessons to all students, not just to the English-speaking students or to your higher level students. Technology can be incorporated to meet the needs of all students. We just need to be aware of what's out there. I would like to provide teachers the appropriate training they need to help them incorporate technology in their lessons. I think this is very important. I don't know, I just feel like when you just put something on someone's desk and say, here you go, it doesn't work that way. Providing technology devices to all teachers and students is very important. You know, I believe in my teachers having their laptops to take home. I check them out for them and they take them home. They need that time to play with them. I mean, honest to goodness, that's what I see. The more you play with a device, the more you get to know about it. All buildings need to be equipped with the appropriate technology, and forming an IT department where personnel are fully qualified and are available to answer questions and troubleshoot problems and monitor the networks is very important. We have an excellent IT department, and I mean, they went so far as when we passed out the laptops during COVID, there was an 800 number that they could contact them at, and there was just an email, an IT department help email that, if a parent had a question, they could email them if they couldn't get a hold of them on their cell phones. So we have a very strong IT department here. We also have a technology committee, and they meet once every semester, I believe. Sometimes it's been every 9 weeks, depending on the rotation of different technology devices. And they help keep track of what technology is being used. And they also update us on the technology rotation cycles. Because, we're really good at watching what all the other buildings get and what we don't get. So they learn to put us all on a technology rotation cycle, just like a textbook or uniform cycle. The one thing I learned was partnerships is very important. When we went into shutdown, it was amazing how immediately our local internet provider, they instantly provided families with free internet service from March to the end of the school year. That right there, that shows how much they really do care. And so partnership with the community is wonderful, and I highly encourage that. See, in order for me to seek opportunities to make sure that everything is equally, proportioned as far as, does everyone have what they need? It's not just the high school teachers who have the laptops or the iPads or the cameras. It's not just the elementary teachers. It's not just the middle school teachers. And this by having that technology committee, they keep us right in the know of, okay, whose turn is it to order so much of technology? Whose turn is it to order new printers? I really do appreciate everyone on that technology committee. They also keep us informed of the programs being used, and they bring forth new ideas that are coming up, and they provide the background research, and they just give us the an overall view, and that's very helpful. The other thing that I've discovered is the needs assessment. Those are very important. Professional development based on what the staff's needs are. Whenever we had the shutdown, well, we used Zoom and Google Classroom. It was I hate to say this, but it was the younger teachers who knew a little bit more about this, and next thing you know, they started providing their own professional development opportunities. And so I appreciated the staff in training each other. Provide technology training during scheduled in-service days. Get together with the calendar committee and emphasize the importance of professional development days for our teachers. It's tough. It's tough to bring them in during the summer. It's tough to bring them in after school hours. So we might as well collaborate with the calendar committee and start developing a schedule that fits also the need of the teachers. And so I strongly advise that. Supplemental programs from other programs, it's always good to look into those programs. Those programs can help fill in the gaps to help support the district's vision. So don't forget your supplemental programs. Community partnerships. As I said earlier, I strongly believe in these. I really wasn't aware of how much importance or force or no importance that a community coming together in a school building had. And I watched this happen. I was on the advanced ed back then. That's what KISA was back then. And we had to come up with our school vision and our school mission and vision statements. And the person in charge of that did a great job. She brought in business people, she brought in parents, and she brought in school personnel, and then we brought in ESL parents and migrant parents, and it was like a huge family in a big room where everyone was allowed to voice their opinion, and everyone was honestly working together. It didn't matter if the person used Spanish or English, it didn't matter. They were working together for one common vision, and that was like, it gave you energy. So I highly recommend building those partnerships with all these different stakeholders in the community. The one thing that I have learned about, I'm trying to hurry because this cuts off here in a little bit. The one thing I'm trying to emphasize to our new staff is FERPA. I know there are times whenever there are certain things we just can't share, and we have to be careful with things like that. I know many years ago, and honestly, it wasn't done for any other reason, but that was the only system they had. I remember being on the reduced lunches, and my lunch card that was punched every time I would go through the line was a different color than a lot of my friends. We didn't know why until I think I got older. I realized why, and that was kind of embarrassing, but it wasn't meant to hurt me. It was just, that was how the system worked, and things went that way, and that's how it was. These days things have changed. I know that there are times whenever different organizations come in and they want to know, well, which families can they help? Which families do I feel need a food basket or a clothing basket or a laundry basket full of cleaning supplies? I have to be careful with that, because as soon as I start stating names, that eventually gives out confidential information. So that's something I'm working on with my new staff. We don't want to ever single anyone out. We are equal opportunity places for the students as well as for the staff. Use of space and time. This one really is something that I saw it happening in front of my eyes. Allowing students to have a voice and opportunity to lead. this happened, like I said, as when I would zoom into classes and I'd see the kids would be the ones helping the teachers, they felt a sense of pride, a sense of value. We do need to allow times for that. We need to focus on the whole child. The part that I really liked about this was the different skills that aren't academic but are much needed skills like soft skills, character, growth, mindset, social, emotional, and so forth. Those are different skills that, I haven't found a curriculum that covers that. But we all know through the partnerships of the different businesses that it is very much needed. And so I highly recommend let the kids take the lead. They'll surprise you, or they have surprised me anyway. Collaborative leadership. From day one that I started working in Elkhart, we have collaboration meetings on when I started back 20 years ago, it was weekly. Then we went to monthly. Then we went to no meetings because of COVID. We're finally getting back on track, and we're finally scheduling our different collaboration meetings, which are very much needed because, coming together and when you give a problem, but you come together, there's nothing like whenever they come up with a solution together. It's not just one person or one department. It's a together thing. There's more buy-in to that when it's an effort that I misspelled that over here, sorry. It's an effort that everyone had a part in. They buy into it more. Critique. Well, I did critique myself. Like I said, I went to school back in 2006 at Fort Hays State University, and I can tell you that things have changed. The one thing that I know that when I started taking my district level courses, I thought about it because I didn't realize I had to do all this technology part. I didn't realize I had to record myself, and I didn't realize I wouldn't have books. It took some time, but I finally talked myself back into it. I believe the teachers are the same way. They're used to doing what they're used to doing, their comfort level. It takes time. We discovered that when we changed over to FastBridge. It takes time. They're used to, they're used to what they're used to doing, and there's nothing wrong with that except for we need to give them trust so that they can go ahead and take chances to try new things. And if something doesn't work, it's okay. Let's start all over. The one thing that I often worry about is the screen time for our students, but you have to find a balance, and our students are good at that. But the more we learn about technology, the more we become really familiar with, who all is incorporating what technology lessons. Our students are used to more of the screen time than we are, and they know how to use technology better than we students do. So I hate to say this, but I do ask some of my students for help, and they're really quick at, finding where the shortcut was. That's all it was a little shortcut. I do see the need to introduce more opportunities for technology to be incorporated in lessons. I just need to take the time to visit other schools to see how they're doing, how are they incorporating those lessons? Why reinvent the wheel? And so we now have a digital science curriculum, and this has rocked the building a little bit because not all science teachers were on board with this, but it's a process, so we'll take it a day at a time. Okay. This assignment helped me read information that will help me today, not tomorrow, it's today. I have been struggling on finding resources that bring attention to other skills such as soft skills. It is amazing how much I could find I believe we had 3 resources that referred to that, so I appreciated that. Through the resources we were assigned to read, I located a TED Talk pertaining to Yet and Grit. Awesome TED Talks. I highly recommend them. As one of the articles stated, there will be staff members that will buy into the new technology lessons, new curriculum, and just the new way of doing things, such as being a facilitator and allowing students to take the lead. But there will be others who won't, and that information that I read said, just let the snowball effect take place. Let it go little by little. I really appreciated hearing that. And as I reflected, the one thing I know for sure is don't force anything on anyone. Once again, I'll restate the snowball effect. Provide a work environment where everyone feels they can take risk. It's okay to start all over. It's okay to fail. If you really think about it, you won't start all over from the same place that you started. And so it's just called building trust. And learn to think outside the box. Technology does cause a lot of fear, especially in our veteran teachers, but we just need to take baby steps with them. The other thing is influence the decisions as a future school leader. I highly will keep on top of my list is collaboration and partnerships beyond the school. That's very important. I didn't realize, like I said, it took that one huge meeting we had when it was advanced ed. I think it was switching over to KESA when we had to come up with a new vision statement and a new mission statement. I mean, that was amazing. We had people from different ages, from different backgrounds, and we came together as one for one cause, to make things better for our students, for our children. And the other thing is when communicating with community partners, I need to make sure student information is not shared. Percentages would be better instead of, for sure I know, instead of giving family names or anything. That is one thing that I know a lot of the churches do call and say, which families need, what are their needs, and I've just learned to say anymore, I can give you a percentage, I just can't give you any names. So this was very helpful. I spent, I think, more time on just reading the different articles that could help me right now, and so I do appreciate it, and there are my references, and thank you.